Who is your soulmate?
That's a good question that many singles are asking this day.
Yes.
The truth of the matter is, according to our tradition, it is very important to remember that God conducts everything in this world.
Yes.
He leads us to our soulmate if we allow Him to. If we do not interfere with Him, eventually we will meet at the right place at the right time. As long as we do not interfere, as long as we're not picky, as long as we don't have unreasonable requests of the person we want to marry, He will match us up with the right person. It happens in different ways. With some people, like in Iran, in the olden days, they had arranged marriages. So God puts it into the minds of the parents who should marry who. And it ends up being the right match. Not always, as I will explain.
Yeah, you surprised me.
Yeah, but it depends on the tradition, on the culture.
Yeah.
In some cultures, there is arranged marriages.
Yes.
And even though we think that the parents are arranging it, in reality, God is arranging it in heaven for them to think of the right person. In our society, many times people go out. They can meet in the hospital. People interfere. People make problems. And they don't necessarily meet with the right person.
Problem like what?
Parents getting sometimes involved. The boy looking for money or the girl looking for money. And maybe the real soulmate doesn't have money. And he's the best match, the best person for you. He has such good qualities. Why do you want a degree? Why do you want him to have money? Money is not important. Money comes, money goes. Don't you want the best person? Don't you want a husband that will love you and respect you? Don't you want a wife that will treat you like a king? Isn't that the most important thing in life? But unfortunately, people are not looking for these values, and they therefore don't always find the best match possible.
You know, Rabbi, I am the person that I always think about my heart, with my heart.
Right.
There is a question for me. Can you live only with love?
No. Obviously, everyone needs to survive. Everybody needs to make a living. Obviously.
Yes.
But you know what? I'll tell you something. If people really love each other and they have great respect for each other,
that's important.
Nothing will break down the relationship. I agree and I will admit that poverty makes life difficult.
Yes.
But a terrible marriage is worse than poverty. You can be very wealthy. You can have millions of dollars. But if you don't have respect between the husband and wife, it's not worth anything. So love conquers everything. Love is the most powerful. And it obviously helps for them to be able to make a living. But a good relationship is the most important thing in life.
They say, if there is a love, Hashem is there.
Of course, the Shekhinah is there.
Yes.
That's correct.
How we can find our soulmate?
According to our tradition, 40 days before the formation of the fetus, when the child is still a baby in the mother's womb, it has already been decided who he will marry.
Really?
The daughter of Mr. So-and-so will be his wife.
Wow.
So eventually, at some point at age 20, 22, 24, 25, they will meet. One way or another, unless, of course, the individual postpones his marriage, delays his marriage, goes to college, then, God forbid, sometimes he may lose his soulmate. So if you, as I mentioned earlier, if you do not conduct yourself in an improper way, you do not have unreasonable requests, you do not interfere with God's plan, everything will happen by itself. All of a sudden, a friend, a cousin, a teacher will knock on your door and say, I have somebody for you.
Wow.
Sometimes the girl comes to the boy, sometimes the boy goes after the girl. But I need to remind the men that it usually has to be the man who looks for the woman, the man who makes the initiative. If he doesn't find where he lives, he has to travel. He has to make an effort, because even though he will make it happen, you can't sit home and do nothing. You can't just postpone it indefinitely. You really have to have a desire to get married. And then if you help yourself, God will help you. As long as you want to succeed in this marriage, as long as you want your true other half, He will help you. It requires a lot of faith, and it requires a lot of prayer. But it also requires good conduct. If a man and woman are not behaving themselves, if they're playing around, living intimately with another individual, not for purposes of getting married, then they may ruin the chances of finding the best match possible.
Everybody has a soulmate, Rabbi.
For the most part, most people have a soulmate because the soulmate is the other half of the soul.
Everybody has.
Yes, for the most part. Yes.
So how come some people born to this life, they go on and they never married?
That's a very good question. There are, unfortunately, in this generation, more than ever, too many single men, too many single women.
Why?
And there is several reasons, not one. One reason, one explanation is that in this generation, many people are going to college and spending many, many years becoming doctors, PhDs. The girl who's 18, 19, 20 will not wait so long. She wants to get married, settle down, have children, start a family. After 28, 29, it becomes harder to find the right person.
Yes.
Then there are those individuals who got used to having girlfriends or boyfriends. They don't want to get married. Today, many people are not as interested as in the past. And then you have the Iranian culture. We need money. I have to spend $50,000 for the wedding.
Yes.
I have to spend so much on the DJ, the music, the singer, the flowers. And this prevents them from getting married if they don't have the money.
If somebody has it, they do it. If they don't have it, why they have to do it?
Right.
Yeah.
If they really, really wanted to get married, they should not care about the music and the flowers.
Yeah.
This is a priority. To start a family should be the most important priority in life. Unfortunately, people are waiting for money. People are waiting for good looks.
Yes.
And that's
it
why
can't happen everything together.
No, that's a second reason.